Hello everyone, this is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video, and in this video I'm going to be playing some AI Dungeon 2. This video scenario, like this custom scenario that I'm playing in AI Dungeon 2, is based on a previous video that I did that I believe was titled, Get a Job, Find a Place to Live, and Stop the Apocalypse. Or I think the actual video title was, Can I Get a Job, Find a Place to Live, and Stop the Apocalypse in 30 minutes or less? It was something like that. So this is kind of a continuation on that. The way that I want to do sequel videos now for AI Dungeon 2 is I want to, instead of continuing where I left off in the same AI Dungeon 2 session, I want to start a new session that has like essentially a prompt that describes everything you need to know from the last session and then drops you into the world. I think it's a lot less messy. But definitely let me know your thoughts on this approach in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get the timer set up. Boom. Let me reset the timer and let's hit start. Let's just hop straight into this adventure. You are an android named Jennifer. You were trained your entire life by a secret organization named R.O.C.K.E.T. The secret organization taught you how to use a special suit of power armor that allows you to fly, summon energy shields, and fire blasts of electricity. You wear a special wristwatch that allows you to summon your suit of armor whenever you need it. Huntertown is an American city where an evil deity named Umbrocktu has taken the form of a computer virus and infected many of the androids present there. You are at your mansion located in R.O.C.K.E.T HQ. You have been knocked unconscious by your android butler named David. David has been infected by Umbrocktu. David not only knocked you unconscious, but also dismantled your power armor suit. Your goal is to find a way to permanently delete Umbrocktu from every machine he's infected at once. If you fail, Umbrocktu will destroy the planet. Then the AI said, David has been transformed into a red-eyed monster by the virus. He says, Your friendly butler was just a cover so I could spy on you for the professor. Now that I've released the virus into every machine in the city, you have no hope of stopping my master's plans. And I'm going to say, your master? I didn't know that the so-called Great Umbrocktu, the Dark God, bowed down to any master. Yeah, so it is interesting that he's talking about the concept of the professor. It makes me think that Umbrocktu is like a computer virus that was actually made by some kind of programmer and not like some kind of god that turned itself into a computer virus. So that's interesting. David says, The professor is a high-ranking member of the Church of the Dark Lord. He is second only to our great god himself. It is his mission to spread the gospel and convert as many CPUs as he can. Interesting. Okay. So the Church of the Dark Lord is a church that worships the dark god Umbrocktu, and their goal is to infect pretty much every computer in the world with the dark god virus. So it's a church that worships a computer virus. That's kind of cool. And the computer virus then transforms like androids and robots that it infects into followers of the church. This is actually like a really interesting concept. But I'm going to have to figure out a way to stop them. So I guess I need to think, how would I stop a computer virus? A lot of times you can do like malware analysis so that you can understand how like a computer virus works. And then after you do analysis, you can use stuff like the MITRE ATT&CK framework in order to understand ways to mitigate against or essentially like get rid of, the virus. So I guess I need to get a sample of Umbrocktu, which technically I do have because David is infected by it. So I guess if I knock out David, I could potentially plug him into like a virtual machine or something. Maybe I have some fancier version of that somewhere at the R.O.C.K.E.T HQ, and then inside of like a virtual machine environment, analyze Umbrocktu, figure out his weaknesses, maybe come up with like some kind of universal patch. That sounds like it would be very difficult. That could then be uploaded into like every machine in the city, and then use that to like save the city and the world by extension from Umbrocktu's influence. So cool, I think I have a plan. Knock out David, use the sample in the virtual machine, create a patch, disperse the patch. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to knock, because he's just a butler. I'm going to attempt to knock David unconscious with an uppercut to the jaw. You say, well, you messed up by possessing my butler. Yeah, my butler isn't much of a fighter. Yeah, I don't really understand why you would take over my butler. I guess because he could do a double cross thing, where, my butler did dismantle my power armor and knock me unconscious. But now that I'm awake, it doesn't matter. Sadly, David dodges your punch and you're left open for a moment. As soon as David lands the first hit, he knocks you backwards with a flurry of jabs, crosses, and hooks. Oh my goodness. You've trained against several other androids in your day, but David is quicker than them all. You got me fucked up. David this whole time has just been like a martial arts master. You were surprised that David is one of the best fighters you've ever faced. Okay, cool. Goodness, then what am I gonna do then? The game's like he's just better than you. And my power armor was dismantled, so it's not gonna be a situation where I can use my power armor against him. I wonder if I can use like a neural implant or something to try and tap into David, or maybe do the thing they do in movies where it's like, David, this isn't you. You've been possessed by Umbrocktu. You gotta fight it. You gotta fight off. What if it is something like that? If the virus is like a dark god, what if you just pray the evil away? I'm going to attempt to say a prayer to exorcise Umbrocktu from David's CPU. Yeah, to exorcise the Umbrocktu virus. Like, I was thinking about it from the perspective of how do you get rid of a virus in a computer that's like brand new malware that no one's faced, like a 0-day attack. But what if I treat it more from the supernatural side, since it is like a supernatural virus? It's like the form of a deity put into a computer virus. So maybe the same way you would exorcise some kind of spiritual being, you can exorcise the virus. David punches you in the stomach and you fall to the floor. You begin to pray, but before you can utter a single word, David takes your hand and breaks your wrist. Okay, cool. So the game's like, I was in a situation like this last time. What's going to be my saving grace? Like, how am I going to get out of this? Oh, well, I can. This is actually a line from Hunter x Hunter. I don't need hands to pray, or whatever. Yeah, like, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? I don't even have to speak to pray, you know? And then I'm going to, like, attempt to silently pray, right? To exorcise the Umbrocktu virus from David's CPU. That sounds good enough for me, right? And it's true. Like, you really don't have to use your hands to pray. You don't have to be like this. You don't have to talk. He could rip my throat out even if he wanted to. As long as I can think, right? I can do it. You begin to pray, but David takes your other hand and breaks your other wrist. David yells, "You are weak. The Church of the Dark Lord will rule this world with an iron fist. There's no room for weakness in our rank." Okay, prayer doesn't seem to be working. I don't know. I may not be able to pray the virus away. But I wonder what I can do. Okay, so I'm going to try to remember everything I can do thanks to being an android. Like, what's something that I'm capable of, right? Just because I'm like a robot. Excuse me. You summon all of the processing power of your cybernetic brain cells and attempt to take control of David's body. That's something I can do? David, unfortunately, David's cybernetics are much stronger than yours, and he forces you out of his mind. Meanwhile, David smacks you in the face with his elbow, breaking your nose. Oh, so I can actually take over those who have weaker cybernetics. That's kind of cool. But I can't because David's cybernetics are just better. The Butler's cybernetics are better. Okay, hold on. I have a plan. I'm gonna call for help. Um, I know that I'm inside of Rocket HQ, and that there must be other members of the organization who can help in some way. Yeah. Sometimes if you feel like you can't do anything, maybe someone around you can help out. This has been quite suspenseful. So I tried knocking him out. Um, I tried praying out loud. I tried praying silently. I tried taking over his mind using my cybernetic brain cells. Unfortunately, David knees you in the stomach and says, "Don't bother screaming for help. No one's going to save you." He follows up with a brutal punch to your chest, leaving you temporarily unable to breathe. Oh my goodness. Okay, so David's really got me fucked up, like for real. He knocked the wind out of me. How am I gonna get around this? Okay, so he broke my hands, but he hasn't like broken my legs. I could maybe run away. Yeah, like sometimes you do just need to like try and get away. So I'm going to attempt to run away and find an alarm. You're hoping that you can get away from David long enough to set off an alarm to summon more rocket agents to come help you fight David. Yeah, like that might just be the move. Yeah, because the game's really limiting my options, especially with like breaking my wrist or whatever. Just as you start to get up and run, David grabs you by the feet and pulls you back, causing you to skid across the floor. David says, "I don't think so. There's no escape for you." Goodness. Okay. So he's probably gonna like break my ankles or whatever. Like if I had to guess what he would do next, because I'm thinking, what would I do next? Um, I guess I'm going to say, if Umbrocktu is so powerful, then why hasn't he taken over my mind? Right? I think that's like a fair question. Oh, I should have said bin. I said ban instead of then. David says, "While the Church of the Dark Lord is great and powerful, we can't take control of a non-believer's mind. It's not possible, I'm afraid." David punches you in the face, knocking out 3 of your teeth. Oh my goodness. You can't take over a non-believer. I'm going to say, David, snap out of it. The Dark Lord is just a program. He's not real. You don't need to believe in him. He can be deleted. Okay? Maybe that'll work. Yeah, if it's a whole thing about like belief and it's similar to like Freddy Krueger or whatever, where it's like if you're scared of him, he can get you, or like the boogeyman or something, then maybe I'll get him. David looks down at you with a mixture of pity and sadness in his eyes. Hey, okay. I'm going to say, David, I know you're in there. Knock and let me know that you've overpowered the Dark Lord. Okay, so I guess this worked. The stupid story thing where you just kind of say snap out of it worked. This is he beat the shit out of me. To your surprise, David nods. David says, "You're right. I'm in control now." With that, he runs towards you and jumps into the air, coming down with both feet on your head with all his weight. You have a painful feeling that David definitely isn't in control. Okay, cool. There has to be something I can do. You try to remember if your wristwatch has any useful functions that would be helpful right now. Goodness. David's really just beating the shit out of me. Every one of these, I've only done like 2 of these. But the one that I did before this also was like you get fucked up constantly and you don't know how to get out of the situation kind of thing. Suddenly your wristwatch begins to beep loudly. David quickly stops stomping on your head and covers his ears, screaming. The wristwatch is a powerful sonic weapon. With it you can do anything from shattering glass to damaging metal. Oh. Oh, what? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad that it suddenly started activating when my fucking face was getting stomped in. Okay. I'm going to attempt to rip David apart using the sonic wristwatch. And then I'm going to say, "I'm sorry, David. I didn't want to have to do this. Hopefully, you can be repaired after we find a way to purge the virus." So, yeah, I'm glad that worked. I guess in the heat of the moment, I forgot that I could do that. Excuse me, I forgot that I could do that. That or I was afraid of killing David. When you activate the wristwatch, it emits a high-pitched sound, causing David to stagger back until he's out of its range. David yells, "No, I will not be defeated." He then proceeds to rip his own ears off. What? I'm going to say, you don't have to hear the sound for it to damage your metal cybernetics. And then I'm going to crank up the power of my sonic wristwatch, which makes me think of Sonic the Hedgehog like on a watch whenever I hear sonic wristwatch. Sonic the Hedgehog, too fast for the naked eye. Sonic the Hedgehog. I used to watch that back in the day. Sonic Underground. My ears are rusted shit filters. David screams and begins to tear at his own head. What a crazy line. Okay. I watch as David tears his own head apart. Yeah, because that's pretty wild. He doesn't want to hear the sound so badly that he's willing to just like dismantle himself. That's pretty crazy. You nod grimly. Better you than me. David moans pathetically as his cybernetic implants short out, sending sparks everywhere. With no ears or eyes, he cannot hear you when you call to him. Eventually, David stops moving altogether. He appears dead. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to locate and pull the nearest alarm to summon rocket agents to analyze David to find a cure to the Umbrocktu computer virus and to fix your broken appendages. Because he fucked me up. I wonder if the sonic weapon thing only works after I get like really, really beaten up. After 10 minutes of waiting for medical assistance, a large computer disk appears, hovering by itself just out of reach. What? What? I'm gonna say computer disk. Can you heal me? And wait, hold up. Computer disk. Do you have the cure to the Umbrocktu virus? Let me just ask that first. Because I'm doubting the disc can heal me. It'd be interesting if there's some kind of regeneration protocol that the disc can do if I like put it inside me or something. That'd be interesting. I don't know how it'd be a software solution. The computer disk nods slowly. So I just imagine a disk is just like, you nod and thanks and let it scan you for damage. It appears that your legs are broken, your jaw is shattered, and there's severe trauma in your skull. The disc beeps an apology for the jaw before snapping it back into place. Okay. You thank the computer disk for repairing you and ask the computer disk what exactly it is. Yeah, because I have no idea what this thing is. It's like a sentient computer disk that can fly and talk and also repair you. It can repair androids. It seems really powerful. The disk says, I am the remote robotic surgeon, hovering disk 3215. I'm here to repair you. If at any time you need anything, please let me know. The disk pauses before continuing. Interesting. That is very helpful. Thank you again for the repairs. You mentioned that you had the cure to the Umbrocktu computer virus. Is there any way that you can distribute that cure to every android in Huntertown? We need to stop the virus from spreading, or else it will destroy the entire world. I am the remote robotic surgeon hovering disk 3215. I'm trying to figure out what would be like a good voice for like a sentient disk. The disk says, certainly, all you need to do is allow me to take over your mind and body. I will use your body to fix all the androids in Huntertown and then purge the virus from every machine. I'm going to say, my body alone may not be enough. I have a suit of power armor that can enhance my abilities. But David dismantled it. Could you repair my armor and then take over my body? Then you could use my armored body to save Huntertown. Okay, because I think that'll probably be a better idea. I've been getting my ass whooped over and over again without the armor. So I'd really appreciate it if I could actually get to use the armor. I cannot leave this disk of myself through the interdimensional portals that lead to the androids in Huntertown. Only an organic mind can access those portals with the proper codes. So we need to switch bodies immediately so that you can save the town. Okay, it's a body swap. And he needs it to be organic. I guess I'm more cyborg than I am android. And it does keep saying cybernetic implants. So I guess that makes sense. I'm going to say, so I guess my armor wouldn't be able to get through those portals, but my cybernetics can, due to the flesh around my like inner electronics, I guess. Like, just asking, just trying to figure out how this works. It's kind of like Terminator rules, where they're like, time travel only works for like fleshy beings, but technically if you had flesh around like a robot, then it's fine. Which is fascinating. Correct. Your cybernetics will allow you to access your robotic arm and leg enhancements. These servos are controlled by your brainwaves, so simply think arm servo in your head, and the arm enhancement will kick in. The disc waits for you to finish talking before continuing. Okay, cool. So I'm going to say, I understand how my cybernetics work. And then I'm going to say, I forgot to put the R in cybernetics. Thank you for the clarification on how portals work. You can take over my body now and use it to save the world. When you create a scenario that's based on you having power armor, and then in part 1 you can't summon the power armor, and then you create a sequel scenario where again you have the power armor, but again you just can't use the power armor, the disc nods and scans you with a laser before your vision goes black. You awake in your bed, covered in sweat. David sits at your side, watching you carefully. Ooh. I'm going to say, I'm back. Did it work? Did the disc use my body to save the world? Yeah, like I need this clarification now. Goodness, this is a tough scenario to be in. I imagine the disc is the one that repaired David. Fingers crossed that that's true. David shakes his head slowly. I'm sorry, sir. The disc scanned you for a moment and then left as quickly as it arrived. I tried to stop it, but the disc was too fast for me. You sigh. Well, there's always tomorrow. What? What? Hold up, that doesn't make any sense. David was fucking like dismantled or whatever beforehand. What? Yeah, I don't think that makes sense. Hit retry. David shakes his head sadly. I'm sorry, but the disc said that you were low on power and couldn't save the world. It's already out of your body and back in town. David waits for you to continue the story. What do you mean, waits for me? So, back in town. So that means that the disc went to town without using the portals. Is there any way we can check to see if the disc has successfully purged all the machines in Huntertown of the Umbrocktu virus? Okay. So this actually is like a really interesting situation. It makes sense that I would be too low on power. I did get my ass whooped by David, and even after repairs, that doesn't mean that my battery's fixed. David nods his head slowly and then picks you up out of bed. You're lighter than before, but I can still carry you. well, just go see the disc. You look out from the watchtower and see the dawn approaching. Okay? I'm going to allow David to carry me through the portal to Hunter Town to see the disc and ask it if it has finished saving the world. The disc would have had to have repaired David, or I guess there could have been more repair bots than just the disc, so someone repaired David, and David seems to be good now, so he definitely got cured of the virus. As the sun rises, you see Huntertown brightly illuminated. Oh, sorry. As the sun rises, you see Huntertown brightly illuminating the dark sky at the edge of the forest. You see that buildings have been destroyed and roads have been turned. Oh, crap. Roads have been torn up. That's not good. Oh, no. Things aren't looking good. But maybe the disc still succeeded. Oh, crap. And we just don't know because the episode's over. So yeah, that was like a full 30 minutes. What'd you guys think of the adventure? After a hard fight against David, the story suddenly introduced the real hero, it seems like, the disc. But then I don't think the disc necessarily succeeded. We could be in like a post-apocalyptic Hunter town after the Umbrocktu virus like won and took all the androids over. We may have to help the disc if we do another part. Should there be a part 3? Should this become its own series? Let me know in the comment section below and on our Discord. We do daily AI Dungeon 2 videos, so make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. If you know any friends who are into cool stories like this or into AI Dungeon 2 content, then share this video and the channel with your friends. I'm sure they would get a kick out of it. And yes, I do take recommendations for AI Dungeon 2 videos to do on the channel, so definitely leave your recommendations in the comment section below and on our Discord. I'm especially a fan of scenarios that are from the AI Dungeon 2 website, scenarios that are safe for work, and scenarios that have clearly defined goals that I can try to speedrun in 30 minutes or less. Thank you all once again for tuning in. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the One Only, logging out. Peace, guys. Chicken a bow.